and we're live. Sorry, we have been experiencing some problems with our transmission, but we're back, and we have here Beardslee from Wild Fish Conservancy in Washington State, and is going to tell us a little bit more about what was going on in Washington State and how did they get to actually phase out salmon farms in that area.
Well, again, I work for the Wild Fish Conservancy, and we've been working on Atlantic salmon net pen issues for the last 15 years. But just this last year, we had quite a wonderful break in getting government involved in removing these pens, or actually phasing out these pens over the next 4 years. Just to back up just a little bit, we've had Atlantic salmon net pens for roughly 30 years. We were the last state, U.S. state on the coast. California has banned Atlantic salmon net pens. Oregon got rid of any Atlantic salmon they had. Alaska has banned Atlantic salmon net pens. So Washington was the only U.S. state left, and last year we had a escape of roughly 250,000 Atlantic salmon into the Salish Sea, and we documented that those fish were infected with Piscine reovirus. This stimulated the legislature to write legislation to phase out these pens, and it turned out that we passed the legislation this last year. The governor signed it into law, and in the next 4 years, there will be, no later than 4 years, there will be no net pens in Washington's waters, hopefully sooner. And so now I'm up here on Martin Sheen with our Sea Shepherd friends and other colleagues in First Nations, and we are showing our solidarity for the work that they're doing. Our colleagues up here in Canada are now have been working for many years and very successfully getting the word out, but have not been successful yet in removing these pens. And our salmon are not safe. BC's salmon are not safe until the entire coast does not have Atlantic salmon net pens. This is salmon. Our wild salmon don't know borders. They don't recognize borders. Our killer whales don't recognize borders, and we share the bounty of these as a society up and down the coast. So I encourage everyone up and down the coast, again, from California to Alaska and throughout our friends in British Columbia, we need to be in solidarity and remove this dirty industry from Pacific waters.
And Kurt, can you tell us a little bit about, so what did your government think about the salmon farms, and what was the final decision they're based on to actually remove these farms?
Well, government essentially said the risk is too great. The governor made a wonderful statement. I can't quote him verbatim, but it was, this is too dangerous of an industry for us to have in our waters and for us to risk our wild salmon. And then, on top of that, then the industry, again, they had 4 years to phase out, and they wanted to restock some of their pens while they still had their existing leases. We asked the government to test the hatchery that provides the fish for these net pens. Our government tested the hatchery and found that the hatchery fish all had Piscine reovirus. And they said, no, we will not allow those to be planted in our public waters. 800,000 fish were denied access to be replanted or planted into Puget Sound. Wonderful first step. We have to have that happen in British Columbia now too. And now we want to move on. The next step is the existing pens that are out in Puget Sound. We want to have those tested for Piscine reel virus, and if in fact they have it, we want those fish removed. That would end far earlier than 4 years all use of Atlantic salmon net pens and Puget Sound. But we're up here again. We think this is the year of solidarity. We all need to work together. We need to not recognize borders. Again, wild salmon don't recognize them. Killer whales don't recognize them. Let's work together and get rid of this industry together. All right.
Thank you. I guess we can move.